Hello and welcome back to another weekly tip video. My name is Zach from the Vital Body Wellness Center, and today we're going to be talking about electromagnetic frequencies, radiations, and how they may be the two silent killers against your health and well-being. So first of all, what is an EMF? Well, EMFs are produced by any source of electricity or electronic device. So you're obviously thinking, okay, in my home there are many things that produce electricity or are electronic devices, right? So do they produce EMFs? And the answer is yes. But it's important to note that the intensity and potency is not always the same depending on the device that's producing these EMFs. But typically, the more intense and the more potent, the more detrimental that is to your health and well-being. So some really common devices that actually are producing intense levels of EMFs include our cell phones, microwaves, Wi-Fi routers, smart meters, and Bluetooth devices. So these things are really common in the home, and they do produce high or intense amounts of electromagnetic frequencies. Being exposed to high levels of electromagnetic frequency that are rather intense can lead to detrimental impacts in our cellular health. It can actually diminish the charge of our cell. And we talk about that a lot at Vital Body Wellness Center, that we want to increase our cellular charge. We want to be in environments that are helpful for our cellular charge. For if a cell is healthy, then the body can also be healthy. And there can also be an increase in the inflammation in different joints, part of the body, and different things like that. So there's really quite a range of effects that being exposed to high levels of EMFs can have on your body. So there are already a couple of reasons on why we should really care about EMFs, but to go one further, I want you to imagine that your health is represented by a bucket, and everything you do that is beneficial for your health fills the bucket per se, to a point that it can potentially be overflowing. And that's kind of what we talk about when we talk about vitality. It's a deep sense of health and wellness that almost overflows. Now imagine every time that you do something that's detrimental to your health, either unbeknownst to you or something that you knowingly will do. It's kind of like punching holes in the bottom of this bucket. The bigger the hole, the more that's going to be flowing out. And the reality is, if you're investing in your health and wellness, whether it's through the EE system or whatever it may be, if the size of the holes in your bucket are larger than the deposits that you're putting in, then all of your efforts to increase your health and wellness may be in vain. So we don't want to have that happen. We want to preferably plug the holes, if you will. And the reality is, with EMFs and these sorts of things, you actually can. So what can you do to limit the EMFs in your home and the things that you're exposed to on a day-to-day basis? Well, a really easy thing to do, depending on the device of course, but is to turn them off when you're not using them. Let's say a Wi-Fi router, for example. At nighttime, when you're asleep, you're not going to be using that Wi-Fi. You're not going to be watching anything or doing anything of that nature, so turn it off. Same thing with your phone. You're not going to be using it while you sleep, and alarms and these sorts of things do work when your phone is on flight mode. When it comes to microwaves, you can very easily replace a microwave usage with a pot and a pan and a gas stove. It might be slightly less convenient, but if it's beneficial for your health and you're not going to be working against yourself, then why would you not? If health and wellness is your goal, then you want to put yourself in a position to succeed. Another thing you can do too, because obviously we are, like I said, exposed to many EMFs throughout our day, is to get things like an EE medallion that can really help to nullify the effects of what you're exposed to. So obviously those EMFs that are all around, you're exposed to them all the time, and they're incoherent and they disrupt you in many ways, as we've said. But wearing something like this can help to nullify their effects. So whether you've been conscious about EMFs your whole life or you're only just coming around to the term now, there is something that you can do today, right now, that can help your health by limiting your exposure to EMFs and radiation. And you'll find that your health will begin to skyrocket, even just with those small steps. Because as I said, if you're pouring more things that are wellness and goodness into your bucket, and you're limiting the amount of holes that that's draining from, well then you're only going to increase your sense of health and wellness and vitality. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope to see you next week.